All right, it says we're live. Luckily, they missed the beatboxing, so there you go.
I can do it again.
No, please no. Oh man, I gotta lower my chair a little bit. I'm a little too tall with this setup. Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Hello, Vaxer and Jerome and Matthew and Smash and JB, Pelican, Sam. Who else we got here? Did I miss anybody? David, Jem, Justin, Owen, Darren, Lars, Treviousness, Treviocious. Ooh, Treviocious. I think I got it. I think that's how you say it. Brett.
Treviocious.
Yeah, like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah, expialidocious. There you go. Reese, Ray,
that also
Mark.
sounds like a Harry Potter spell of some sort.
Treviocious. And if I didn't say your name and you want us to say hello, then I don't know, say Treviocious in chat and we'll say your name. How's it going, everybody? I hope you're having a great day. What's going on today, Lloyd? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. We got a big event coming up in about an hour and a half.
I know. Actually, we probably should start on the podcast like right away because we got to finish that. I got to get it posted, and then we got to go live with Monopoly. Hey there, Stadia Gamer. Vaxer just says no.
Typical.
Austin Swift, what's up, man? Everybody's like spelling Treviocious's name wrong.
Having all this hair on my face is annoying, Bill. We should do something about that.
Yeah, that's not happening, dude. The more I think about, because all right, so you know what? We'll talk about that when we do the Monopoly stream.
Sure.
That's not happening though, and I'll explain why. All right, let me shut off the music. Oh, I love this music. There we go. All right. Let me grab a drink. Wolfgang, how's it going? Jonathan, what's up? All right. If you haven't said Treviocious by now, it's not happening. I'm moving on.
Treviocious.
Oh, he's telling us how to spell it.
Yeah. Victor Del Mastro, use shampoo with conditioner on your beard. Okay, I was joking about the beard. We'll talk about it during the show, I'm sure.
Yeah, nobody on the podcast wants to hear about it, but the Monopoly people want to hear the joke. All right, so are you ready?
Yeah, man.
All right, I gotta hit buttons.
Buy a ColecoVision and a Coleco game cartridge by November 15th. We'll send you a free Cabbage Patch Kid by Christmas.
Welcome back to Stadiacast, everybody. I'm Bill. That's Lloyd. Lloyd, how you doing, man?
Doing awesome, man. It's a bright, sunny day outside. It's going to be nice and warm. I'm going to go outside and get some stuff done. But first, we got some pod stuff to do.
That's true. It is a beautiful day out here as well. I've got the window open, so if you hear very loud motorcycles drive by in the background, I'm sorry. It's too nice out to have the window closed right now. So that's what's going on. Before we get started with all of the Stadia news that you want to find out about, we record the show live. So if you haven't ever come to one of the live shows, they're every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern over on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Stadiacast if you're listening to the podcast. And if you're already watching this on YouTube, then you want to be able to take us with you. Maybe listen to the show while you're mowing the lawn or doing the dishes or whatever it is that you got to do. then you can find that show over at anchor.fm/Stadiacast, or you can find you can go to runjumpstomp.com/shows. There's a bunch of ways that you can get there. You just search for it in any podcast catcher, and you're going to find it. If you want to support the show, then that's super easy to do. You can use the super chat feature if you're here with us live, and we'll see your comment, and we will respond to each and every comment in the crowd play section of the show. And of course, if you are not here for the live show, but you still want to support, there is a button right down below the video where you can click on, it says join, and you can get access to emotes and our restricted Discord channel, and you get some videos early as well. With all that being said, let's get started with the Stadia news. Actually, before we get to Stadia news, Lloyd, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a crap ton of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I did that stream last week. A lot of people showed up. It was a lot of fun. And that's been the game that I've been spending my free minutes with. I've gotten above level 50. Which is used to be when the game first shipped, that was a level cap. Now it's all the way up to level 100. So after hitting 50, a bunch of other stuff got unlocked, which is pretty cool. So just been loving it, man. Not really doing so much of the main storyline, although I am about halfway through, I guess. But I've just been playing just random missions, like going to an area of the map I've never been and doing all of the white icons until they turn into gray icons, and continuing on. So it's just been so much fun. I gotta plan another stream for this week to do another couple hours of just running around doing Assassin's Creed things.
Awesome. So you said that the previous level, like you level beyond the level cap. Is that because they added DLC, and like once you get to that level cap, then you are doing the DLC stuff, or is it stuff that was there all along?
So what they've done is in their first big content patch, they increased the level cap from 50 to 70, and then in their last big content patch, they increased that to level 100. So they've added other things. So you have mercenaries that chase after you. It used to be once you got to level 1, you were the top of the food chain for mercenaries. Now there's like S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. So there's more mercenary levels. There's more after story stuff that was patched in for free. There's the DLC stuff that was patched in to be played after your level 50. So it's been just a slow rollout of content, because that game it's a couple years old. So they were constantly just adding stuff. And then for I guess the last big thing they did is they added a story creator mode, so you can actually go and create your own stories in the game or play people's stories. So you can add like dialogue and battles and all this other stuff. So they basically said, okay, as if we haven't already added enough content, here, make your own. And they added all that stuff to the game as well. So it's been pretty fantastic. I'm just in love with that game so much. It's such great fun to go around and play and climb and jump and assassinate people and just explore the countryside. It's been pretty fantastic.
That's awesome. I've been playing a couple of different games. I kind of jumped back into Doom Eternal because there was an update to it, which we can talk about in the news section. But man, that game is fantastic. And every time I load it up and start playing, I'm like, I just can't believe how good this game is. It is, without a doubt, my favorite single-player focused first-person shooter. That being said, I haven't had a chance to play the battle mode yet, which is just like I've queued up a couple times and I've never found a game. But then again, I'm also really impatient, and if it doesn't find a game within like, I don't know, a minute, I'm like, screw it, and I just quit. What would be awesome is if I could say, all right, queue me up to do battle mode, but then just let me go and shoot demons. Like, there's that room on your ship that you can go in and just practice shooting, like killing demons in there. And it would be awesome if I could do that while I was in queue, but I don't think that there's a way to do that. I haven't really looked into it too far. I would be much more likely to stay in queue longer. And I honestly think that's why. I mean, yes, the population on Stadia is smaller, but I think that that's one of the main reasons why people aren't getting games in Doom Eternal is because you're just sitting there looking at the thing waiting to fill up, and that's so irritating.
Sure.
I wish that they had some other way to get around that. But I've also been playing the Division 2. I've been
Nice.
playing that game a lot. That game is really, really fantastic. I loaded it up last night. I think my wife was downstairs working on a sewing project, and my son was watching The Flash, and my niece was in her room watching something. I was like, all right, I got time to sit down and play some Division 2. So I loaded it up, and I recognized the name, so I'm assuming it was a listener. Hopped in with me. They joined my party, and of course Stream Connect popped up on the bottom, which is awesome. I love Stream Connect.
So
I wish
good.
more games used it. But I went through and we did like this really long mission where we had to go through, like, I would say it felt like a NASA museum or something. There's a bunch of astronauts standing around, not like actual astronauts, but like astronaut suits standing there, which was cool. And like the room was filled with smoke, and you could see the silhouettes of the astronaut suits in there, and you weren't sure if it was somebody like standing there or not. I just had so much fun with that game is fantastic, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And then lastly, I got a review code for Doom 64 on Stadia, and I've been playing through that. I'm on chapter 6. My initial impression so far is that it feels very much like a 90s shooter, which is good, but it's like the character moves too fast. And I booted up Doom, just Doom, just regular Doom. I booted up regular Doom on my Switch, and the character moves much slower than the character moves in Doom 64. And I don't know if that, because I never played Doom 64. I don't know if that's because of Stadia or because that's how the game played, but I find myself running into walls a lot. And the thing that it reminded me of was going back and trying to play Half-Life after not playing it for years and years and years. Like a buddy of mine, I was talking to him, we were doing a podcast together, and I was talking to him, and he said that he had never played Half-Life. And I said, oh, you have to play Half-Life so that you can play Half-Life 2. And so he said, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And it got me thinking, oh, I'm gonna try Half-Life again too. And I started playing it, and I ran into that same exact issue where my character just moves too fast. And so I don't think it's a latency thing. I think it's just that's the way the game plays, and it's very, very slidey. And the other thing that I want to say about Doom 64 is the music, while is good music, it does not feel like Doom music. Doom music is fast and lots of percussive stuff going on. And the music in Doom 64 feels more, I don't know, ambient or something like that. I'm enjoying it. It's very puzzly, if that makes sense. Like I gotta go to this spot, hit a button, and then move over here, and there's no indicator as to what the buttons do. You just know that it did something. So I'm wandering around confused a bunch. But I know there's 32 levels in it. I'm on level 6. I've got a long way to go. But it's it's $5 and it's an old school Doom game. So there you go. Have you played it at all?
Well, I played it when it originally came out on the N64. I haven't played this remastered version. I was meaning to pick it up on Switch, never did. Eventually, I'll pick it up on Stadia because I want to play through it again because I really enjoyed it on the N64. It was unlike any other Doom game that had been out at the time because it was unlike any other Doom game, and be able to go through that and play it at 60 frames a second on modern hardware would be great.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the news. Before we actually get to the news, stick around after. If you're here for the live show, stick around after the show. Lloyd and I are playing. I know we're the same person. We get that a lot. Lloyd and I are going to be playing Monopoly here on our YouTube channel, and you can click a link in the description down below. It will take you to that stream as well. All right, let's get to the news. The first piece of news here is that Stadia is now sponsoring content. on YouTube. And so I watched a couple of videos of YouTubers who have been paid by Google to here, go play this game. Now, of course, there are going to be people who are like, oh, Stadia is so bad, YouTube has, or Google has to pay people to play it, or, you know, that nonsense. This is a normal thing. It's just an ad, right? It's just an ad. But do you think that this is the right way to go to have sponsored videos on YouTube by Stadia? What do you think, Lloyd?
Well, I think it's something that everybody does. Like when Apex Legends came out, I remember all the big Fortnite streamers were paid a big chunk of money to play Apex and show that off. And the same happened with when Call of Duty Warzone came out and things like that. So that happens all over. It's not surprising. What is surprising is that we've never received money from Google, and everybody's said that we've always, like, we exist because Google always gives us money. So they're not giving us money, and we're doing this every week, and they're giving other people money. So I guess that's not a complaint. What that is now people are going to think maybe we're even more likely to have taken money, even though we've never done it. Which is really kind of funny. But yeah, that's the big complaint when we post something good about Stadia. It's like, oh, you're just paid by Google. It's like, nope, we're not paid by Google. Google doesn't pay anybody to play their games. And now, well, they do in some form, I guess, like that. I guess it's the only bad thing about it. But back to the main point. I mean, it happens all over the industry. There's the tastemakers and the influencers that will get paid by a PR company to do that stuff, and it's just the way of the industry these days. Less review copies being sent to magazines because there's less magazines, and more paid review opportunities or play opportunities offered to the influencers.
Do you think it will? Do you think it'll help?
I think it can't hurt. You're getting the games out there, and as long as the streamers are saying, yeah, I mean, you could play this in 30 seconds, just pick it up and you can play it on right in your web browser in 30 seconds. That is the marketing lingo that needs to get out there, so people know just how easy it is to jump in and play a Stadia game.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I feel like it's just going to turn into a meme, kind of like was it Paper-like? This video is sponsored by Paper-like, and just to be clear, everybody, this video is not sponsored by anybody. All right,
right.
But there's all of these things out there where it's so pervasive that everybody just starts making fun of it, and I think that is unhelpful to that particular brand, and I hope that doesn't happen with Stadia. I watched a couple of the videos. One of them, I was like, "Oh God, this is terrible!" Like, I'm like, I can't stand any of these people. I just don't like their attitude, and that's because they're the video was very gamer bro kind of stuff, and I'm an old man, and I don't like things like that. And then there was another one where there was a guy just playing a game, and he was like, Google paid me to try it out, and I thought, why not? And I thought I like that kind of thing, but I don't know. I don't like the idea. It doesn't bother me that they're doing it. I just think that it's one more thing for people to latch onto and say, see how awful it is, but hey, what are you gonna do? All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Doom. Doom. By the way, have you finished Doom Eternal yet?
No, I have to get on that. I really need to get that finished. I just need to hunker down and get it done. It's one of those things where I've played so much of Borderlands after Doom and a bunch of other shooters after Doom that I go into Doom and I come around a corner and I'm dead, and it's just like, what the hell happened? Like, I'm not. I maybe have to replay a couple chapters to kind of get back into the swing of things, because I think I'm in a really tough spot, and if I spawn and die right away, that's not a lot of fun.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, Doom had an update 1, they call it. So I assume that means we're going to get more updates down the road. But they have new features on all platforms. So the first thing, this is so cool: empowered demons.
It's so good.
Very reminiscent of Diablo 3. If you ever played Diablo 3, they had this feature where if you got killed by a certain monster, that monster would then go through a portal, and when one of your friends was playing, that portal would open, that demon would step out, and if they killed that demon, they got loot like that they could then share to you, which was super, super cool. Now,
Yep.
Doom is not a loot-based game, so that doesn't really make sense. But if a demon kills me, it can then go in and show up in Lloyd's game and try and kill him. And every time it kills somebody, it gets a little bit more powerful, and you get a bonus XP when you kill it. What do you think of this change?
I love it. I love seeing stuff like that. I love seeing like Avenge Run Jump Stomp appear on my screen, and then I run in and I kill this this big enemy, or a little enemy if you were just like sleeping or something. Little enemy killed you. But things like that just make games so much just more enjoyable. Just to see a little bit of social stuff just kind of sprinkled on top. It's not the main focus of the game, but it's a nice little bonus. I loved in Diablo when you'd get a little note in the mail saying Bob killed the nemesis that killed you, and you get a little present. That's not going to happen in this game, but maybe there's going to be some sort of in-game pop-up that says someone killed the demon that killed you, just so you can say that demon finally got their comeuppance after killing you. Little additions like that, they don't add much to the game, but they're just it's just something cool that they can add just for the people that are still playing, or playing the game a lot to get all the secrets, or to do speed runs and things like that. It's just a nice little bonus.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that this came out after the game had been out for a while, because I feel like a lot of people are all done. Like, they finished. It's a very single player style game, and like, this only happens in the single player campaign. So if people are done, then they're not going to see it too much unless they are going back to try and unlock stuff. So I almost wish that there was a mode in Doom that was kind of like the adventure mode in Diablo, where you could log in and it would, just take you to a random spot. You could, kill a bunch of things and get some XP, and then be teleported back to your base and do it all over again. I think that would be really cool, and this feature would get more use that way.
For sure.
What else? They also have echelon leveling. I got to be honest, I haven't really paid attention to leveling in Doom. Did you pay attention to that at all?
Just when I was looking at the loot that I could unlock by leveling, and then realized that you'd have to replay, you basically have to get in the multiplayer for a long time to unlock those items. So I was like, yeah, I'm not much of a multiplayer guy, so I'm probably never going to unlock this stuff. But it's really cool adding echelons. It's very much like when you prestige in like Call of Duty or whatever, you reset to level 1 and then you get up some bonuses. It seems like that's what echelon leveling is going to do. So once you complete Doom level 250, you echelon, which gives you a different insignia, and you also reset your Doom level to 1, and then it gives you a chance to go through the game again to get to rank 250 again. Crazy that there'd be people that are already there, but good for the people that play a lot of the multiplayer. Just so you know that this guy, he may be level 5, but he ain't no level 5 because he's got a gold banner around his icon.
Yeah, and they do that kind of thing a lot in Diablo again as well. Then there's the Precious Metals event is now live. It says here, featuring the incredible MC Painmaster collection and so much more. And there's more details about. I actually missed this. I don't know. I think it's just unlockables for cosmetics and stuff. So that goes from May 14th until June 18th. So there's actually quite a long time for you to do that event. I like when they give you more time to do that event. This just reminded me, I have yet to do the Animal Crossing Tetris 99 event that is happening this weekend, and I need to do that, I would say right after the show, but we're playing Monopoly right after the show. So later today, I've got to get to it. All right. They also have a favorite code is now available, where players can add friends to their favorites using your favorite code in the social menu. Okay, cool. There was a thing where you can select people who are on your friends list, and every time they gain XP, you gain XP. They're
Hmm.
called boosters, which is kind of neat, and I did not know about that before.
Hmm.
Anything else that you want to talk about before we hit the anti-cheat stuff?
No. It just again, this precious metal event that's going on. They've had other events in the game where you have to gain XP to get to multiple tiers to unlock different cosmetics, and so there's already a pile of cosmetics in the game that you can't get currently. So this is keeping people coming back because they want to make sure that, oh, I love this gold whatever, and I want to get this gold whatever. So they're going to play the game, get the XP, and unlock that item. So it's just it's really cool, and it's really awesome to have a Kako Demon that has like a b-boy kind of thing with gold chains
And a
and
fedora.
a little fedora. Like, it's just, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that Doom doesn't take themselves seriously at all. Like, the game is just cheese for a lot of it, which is just fantastic.
Yeah. All right. The big thing for PC players, which, you know, you might be listening to this and say, well, why are you guys talking about it? And I think that because this is an advantage of Stadia. This is a big advantage of Stadia. For PC, they added de novo anti-cheat software. It is now required for playing battle mode on PC. However, there's some stuff in here that I think a lot of people are very, very irritated with, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I just want to say all of the things that people are upset about are not an issue on Stadia because it's not running on your machine. So this anti-cheat uses a kernel mode driver, which means it can be updated without ever telling you.
Hmm.
It's good that it only starts when you start the game, but if you uninstall it, then the game won't run at all. So even if you're playing the single player campaign, if you uninstall this anti-cheat stuff, which, don't get me wrong, I'm all for not being like, for getting rid of cheaters.
Right.
But having this stuff running on your computer makes people very, very nervous. And that's something that you don't have to worry about with Google Stadia
Hmm.
because there is no anti-cheat stuff because you can't cheat on Stadia. What's your thoughts on this? Do you think that it's a big deal, or is it a bunch of people whining about nothing?
I don't know. I think it's good. In the past, these kernel mode things and these anti-cheat things have been vectors for attacks for people getting rootkits and whatnot. There was also some of them that were basically looking at every piece of software you had on your system and reporting some of that back, and it just bad stuff, or but maybe not, but it could be bad. It looks like this one is not that, which is really great. But yeah, as you said, that is the best thing about Stadia is it's a closed system. There's no hacking. There's no way for you to mod the console like a PlayStation or Xbox. You can't even have console cheaters. This is just a console that's in the cloud. And I think what we're going to see in the future is you're going to get a lot of LAN party type tournaments where they're going to do it in Stadia, because that means no one can cheat. That means everybody has the same ping. It's going to be interesting to see how the fact that you can't cheat on Stadia is going to be used by certain parts of the community.
And not only that, but that also means, you know, everybody has the same machine as well. Everybody has the same ping, like you said, and everybody has that same, that same latency. So, like, it's very even across the board, which is great. That being said, if you're running into problems, you don't get lag. You get like pixelization or pixelation. That's
Mhm.
not a word. You get artifacting and stuff that that doesn't reduce your accuracy. I've only had lag in a game on Stadia a couple of times where I'm playing and the game is just like, I don't know what the hell to do. And I don't know if that's a Stadia thing or if that's the game engine thing. That's hard to tell.
Mhm.
As far as a Stadia update for Doom Update 1, they reduced the input latency. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is a huge reduction. I honestly, I didn't really feel like it was a very latency heavy game to begin with, because I went all the way through the campaign, never really had any problems, especially once I turned motion smoothing off or whatever it was. I turned
Right.
that off, and the game felt great. I haven't had an issue. I loaded it up after the patch and tried it out. Still feels great. I don't know if it feels better or not, but a lot of people were saying, yeah, it feels awesome. And they were very excited about the update. And some people who had bought it and returned it ended up buying it again. And I don't know, like there's just things that people were saying on the subreddit. So who knows if it's true or not, but
Right.
a lot of people were saying that they were doing tests. Do you think we'll get a Digital Foundry retest again? How many
I hope
times can
so.
they revisit it?
I hope so. Like there's a lot of people that think that Digital Foundry has it out for Stadia, and I don't think they necessarily have it out for Stadia. They just prefer to have the hardware in it that they control, that is hooked up with low latency, fast connections to their television, that is on game mode. It would be great to see what the actual reduction was between their last video and this one. I didn't notice much, but as you said, it's always been fast for me. I never really noticed there being an issue before. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Digital Foundry. I'd love to see them do another video.
And Alucard23 in chat is saying that they saw a test like where somebody had done a video, and they said that the latency had reduced from 120 to 83 milliseconds.
Nice.
So that's a significant reduction. Again, I never really noticed any issues before that. Anything else for Doom before we move on?
No, I don't think so. It's just really great to see them adding a big bunch of updates like this, and it's just a sign of things to come. I think they've said that they wanted to support this as a shooter, as a competitive shooter for quite some time, and adding some quality of life and other changes like they've been doing is just showing that that is indeed the case.
Yeah. All right, let's move on, and actually let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Wave Break a little bit. Stick around, everybody.
Tunnel Runner from CBS Electronics, where the excitement never ends.
I'm not trapped. I'm not trapped.
All right, we are back, and yesterday, if you missed it, you can find a link in the show notes or in the description down below. Lloyd and I interviewed one of the developers of Wave Break, which is it's Lloyd, it's one of your most anticipated games. You wanna talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, so Google announced Wave Break, showed it off a little bit, and basically what Wave Break is it's a skateboarding game. So you're riding a boat, but you're also doing skateboard tricks. So it's like a combination of Wave Race and Tony Hawk, but then there's guns in it. So when you're going around the level against other people, you can shoot people to then make them sit on the side for a couple seconds so that you can keep gaining score and they can't. So they've added some of the like Twisted Metal or Cell Damage kind of gunplay into the game as well. It looks beautiful. It's wrapped up in this amazing vaporwave aesthetic. It just looks like a whole bunch of fun. So we were able to sit down with Kaylin from Functronic Labs and had a really nice chat about the game itself, kind of why they're making it, how it came to be, and also some of the specifics. Like it's going to be 60 frames on Stadia, and it's going to have a lot of different multiplayer modes and things like that. And also another big question that you asked them, Bill, that was really interesting.
Sorry, I spaced out there for a second. You were setting me up to do something, and I don't know what you're doing.
Crowd play.
Yeah.
The fact that they talked about crowd play, that it isn't something they can use yet. We've heard things a couple different ways. We've heard developers say that it's coming. We've also heard Google say that it's in the SDK. Anybody can use it whenever they want. So it's interesting getting the different little news and notes from different people. It makes me wonder when crowd play is actually going to be like actually released in a game that we can use, so that we can instantly invite people that are watching a stream on YouTube or Twitch.
Right. So after the interview, I got a developer sent me a private message, and they said, well, so the the developer that you were talking to is correct that crowdplay is not available in the SDK for us to publish to yet, but we have access to it and it works. So right now, it seems like developers have access to these features. They work, but for some reason, maybe they're, Google's still doing testing or something. Google is holding back and saying you can't actually put it in your game yet. Like you can test it and see how it works and everything, but when you publish your game, those features are turned off right now, which is kind of surprising. And I guess that's how you can justify. I did not do that on purpose. John Justice saying, like he said, they're ready to use. And so I guess that they are ready to use. They're just not allowing anybody to use them yet. Yeah. And I gotta say, why? Like, what's the reason that you would hold back? Of course, maybe they're not as good as they want. Maybe they need to tweak some things. Maybe they don't have the UI ready, like the actual feature works, and all of the UI stuff on YouTube isn't ready. So maybe that's the reason that they're holding something back. What do you think, Lloyd?
I think it could be partly that. It could be that whatever plugin they need to add or panel they have to add to Twitch or YouTube just isn't quite ready yet. Like maybe they're developing a whole framework for YouTube so that other developers can release little plugins that you can run on your channel to allow for these things. There could be another part to the problem that we don't even know yet. But it's good to hear from developers that it does work. It just doesn't work now in production games. So I think we'll get it soon. But yeah, I think that would be a really great way to go with this game, because being able to just invite people instantly would be a huge benefit than going through a bunch of menus.
All right. This is not in the show notes, but people in chat are talking about it, and I kind of forgot about it. Earlier this week, Stadia Plus, the guy who makes Stadia Plus did like a kind of a rant, not really a rant, more like a plea to Stadia to say, please don't break the things that we're doing, and if you just don't want me to make Stadia Plus, then tell me and I'll just stop making it. I guess that some of the things that people are using with Stadia Plus, and if you don't know what Stadia Plus is, it's a browser extension in Chrome that lets you do some stuff. Lloyd will tell everybody about it in just a second. But Stadia Plus was broken by some changes that Google made. So first off, I guess, Lloyd, what could you do with Stadia Plus when it was working?
So Stadia Plus, you could go and force your stream to be 4K, or force your stream to be 720p, or force a Chrome browser to use VP9 or H.264. You could have a really cool overlay that shows your frames per second, the amount of data that you've used, things like that. And then it was also some UI changes. So you could, when you had Stadia Plus running and you go to the shop, there's a little search bar at the top. There's a way to sort. You can have it go up, like sort ascending or descending. There was a bunch of like really cool features that just made Stadia better to use in Google Chrome. So it is kind of sad that it is gone. Oh, and it also had a way to basically turn your full screen into a window without having to install another plugin to do that in Chrome. So it had a bunch of really great features. It's sad that maybe some of that functionality will be taken away, or the ability to write that functionality will be taken away by changes Google's making. But it also makes sense that a platform holder wants to control their platform. So to have a certain segment of your population have a nice little search bar and then the rest don't, and people are like, well, Google, why don't I have a search bar? And the response that they're like, oh, well, you have to install this third-party extension if you want that, isn't a good thing, because they don't want to do that. They don't want to push people to another extension that may in the future do something that they don't want it to do. So I'm sure there's going to be this push and pull between Stadia and plugin or extension makers for quite some time. But that the post was very ranty, so it was really interesting to see that, and then also have it taken away. Realize that maybe this wasn't the right way to go about that.
Yeah, I think that In my opinion, and I could be wrong, Google probably broke this stuff inadvertently. Is like you can't a platform holder can't worry about every third party thing that somebody else is doing when they're trying to work on their stuff. So they probably changed the stuff, and then suddenly this is broken, and they're like, well, whatever, it's not our problem. Let's move on. That's a possibility as well. It might not be that they're looking at. Although you made a really good point of, they can't recommend that you try this thing out and then have it changed later on. You don't know what they're going to do. Not that I think that the Stadia Plus dev is nefarious in any way. I don't know what it does. I'm not a developer. I know it's open source, and you can look at what he did in the code and see what he did. But I would look at that and be like, oh, look, he made jambalaya. I don't know. So whatever it is, whatever the reason is, I'm guessing that they broke it inadvertently. Maybe I'm wrong. It would be nice for Google and to contact him and say, hey, by the way, it's okay. Like if it is okay for him to do that, for him to make it, it would be nice if they could say, yeah, go ahead and do your thing. Or if they really don't want him to, it would be nice if they reached out and said, you know what, we would prefer if you didn't do this.
Definitely 100%. And again, going back to programming, you never want to use private APIs when you're writing an application, because they're private for a reason. They may not be there with the next update. So he was using some code that was in there that wasn't meant to be in there, was in there for debugging for Google, or something else. So it doesn't surprise me that it was broken. And like you said, it most likely was an inadvertent. I don't think Google would have gone out to punish this person for writing this extension. That doesn't seem to be the way that Google does things. But I guess we'll see in time if some of that functionality is added back, that the Stadia Plus devs and other extension developers can use to add a little bit more functionality to the web interface of Stadia.
All right. Are you you like sports games, more arcadey sports games, right?
Yeah, I love some sports games. I don't buy every iteration of them, but it's nice to have like an NHL game or a Madden game every once in a while just to dip into. This announcement that we're getting PGA Tour 2K21 is pretty exciting to me, mainly because what it is there was a golf game called the Golf Club, where you would basically be able to download and play real world courses. So a lot of the real world golf courses in Winnipeg were in the Golf Club, so you could play Pine Ridge and some of the other really good courses. That was really cool. So it looks like 2K Games got the rights to the Golf Club, and now they're renaming it to PGA Tour 2K21, which makes me think that PGA Tour 2K21 is going to get a lot of the really amazing features from the Golf Club. Hopefully we'll be able to play real world courses that users can make inside of a PGA Tour 2K game. I'm not a huge real golf fan, like real golf game fan. I like kind of like the more arcadey kind of stuff, like Hot Shots. But it seems like every generation I buy one of the golf games and I play it for a bit, because it's really relaxing to kind of dip into and play through some golf courses.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Of all of the sports games, the golf games are the ones that I tend to enjoy the most. Even the more simulation style sports games, I prefer arcadey games, but golf games, like, they don't have the most ridiculous controls to worry about. It's usually hit a button, hit a button, hit a button, hit a button. It's very relaxing, and I am very like this is going to be the sports game that I buy on Stadia. I'm 99% sure that I'll pick this up, because I love just sitting down and playing a very relaxing, you put some music on, you sit there and maybe play with friends. I remember when I was a kid, we had for our Super Nintendo, Waialae Country Club Golf or something.
So good.
Yeah, and we had so much fun with that. We would all just sit around in the living room, pass the controller from person to person, and play a fun golf game. And being able to play, like, listen here, everybody. I think that we'll probably end up having a Stadiacast tournament for PGA Tour 2K21. I'm very much looking forward to this game. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. As just like you said, golf games are probably the one that's easiest to just jump into, play a little bit, and then bounce out. You don't really need to learn a lot of rules to play golf. So it's really good when friends come over and you just want to pop into a quick golf game. And I've done that with every console generation, all the way down to like Tiger Woods on the Wii, when you're actually using the Wiimote and swinging it like an actual golf club, which was a lot of fun after some time and some adult beverages, maybe having some friends over. Thankfully no TVs were destroyed in the making of those fun evenings, but be able to jump into something that looks a little bit more photoreal on Stadia is going to be great. And I loved what the golf club was doing. I never really played it. I have a lot of friends that play tournaments on it all the time. So to get some of that functionality onto this PGA Tour game is just going to be a great thing. So I'm really, really excited to see how this game kind of unfolds.
What I'm hoping is that you can play online and save halfway through. So, like, let's say that Lloyd and I wanted to sit down and play a game. We could, be playing back and forth, and maybe we get through 4 or 5 holes and we're like, all right, well, golf takes a long time, right? And so maybe we got to go do other things because we're adults and we have things to do. So it would be really nice if we could just hit, okay, let's save and we can come back and finish this some other time. And that would definitely work at like local multiplayer level. But would that kind of thing work with an online multiplayer level, when online multiplayer on Stadia is kind of the same thing as local multiplayer on Stadia? Does that make sense, Lloyd?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think that's a good thought for sure.
All right, let's move on to the crowd play part of the show. This is where we respond to all of the things that you guys sent in via Super Chat, or sometimes we look at the hashtag Stadiacast on Twitter. We'll start by thanking Sukotronic for sending in a Super Chat today. And actually, we got a bunch of new members this week as well. So real quick, I want to say thank you to Cohen, Bernard, Next Up, Ian, Smashblock, Kyle, Stadiology, Brandon, and Brian for their support. And thank you again to Sukotronic for the super chat that they just sent in. Anthony Talcott sent in a tweet this week, and he says, at Stadiacast, I believe the free pro version ends in June. So I believe he's talking about right now there is you can sign up for Stadia. You get Stadia Pro for free for 2 months, and he says that ends in June. He says, I think Google needs to figure out pricing on hardware before then, i.e., if you buy a Stadia controller, will you get 1 month of Pro for free? What about a Chromecast Ultra, a Chromebook, a Google tablet, a Google Wi-Fi, etc.? Do you think that it makes... I'm going to say what I think real quick. I think it makes a lot of sense for a Stadia controller, when you get it, when you buy one of these things, it should absolutely come with a free month of Stadia Pro. What do you think about that idea, Lloyd?
I think that would be perfect, and even better, something that Apple has done for years and years and years and years and years is when it's the back to school time. Although, will we have a back to school time this year? I'm not really sure how that's going to all work. But if you bought an Apple product like a laptop or a desktop or an iPad, you would get some sort of bonus. In the past, it's been like $200 of iTunes credit to buy all your music. It's been get a free Apple TV. Lately, it's get free Beats headphones. What would be really awesome is if you buy a Chromebook or a Google tablet, you get a free CCU and a free Stadia controller as kind of a here, have fun while going back to school kind of bundle, to kind of push Stadia out to more younger kids that are maybe going to college or university and want something fun to do. Just include that as a bonus that you get when you buy some Google branded hardware. I think that would be a really great way to do it. But yeah, throwing in a free month when you buy a controller seems like a no-brainer as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't really cost them anything. I mean, yes, technically that is costing them $10 if the person wasn't going to sign up for Pro, but you might sell a lot more, like you might get a lot more people subscribed to Pro if you give it away for free to begin with when somebody buys a controller. I have to say still, you know, talking about this controller, I love this controller. I've been using it a ton in the past week, actually, past like 3 weeks. I've been playing lots and lots of Stadia, and this controller is fantastic. And Lloyd is a jerk, and he's holding up the Wasabi controller. And good news, everybody! I am looking for a new co-host for Stadiacast because, but the only requirement is you don't have a Wasabi controller. That's right. To wave in front of my face all the time. And yeah, the idea of getting a Chromebook and having it come with, I don't know that it should come with. I mean, Chromebooks are pretty inexpensive already, so to also sell them and then give somebody a $70 controller, and I think wasn't the CCU costs $60, right? Or is it 70?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 70. Like that's a lot of you're getting a big value by getting that for free with a Chromebook. I don't know that would ever happen.
I don't think it would be for every Chromebook, but if you bought something from the Google store and you bought a Google Pixel book or something like that, one of the more expensive ones that some people are doing because they want something with a little bit more functionality. So if you buy a Pixel book, you get you get a free CCU, and so you get a free like Founders Pack, although it's not called Founders Pack anymore, or whatever, the Premier Edition or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're not going to get the same thing if you buy like a Lenovo or an Asus one, because those are a lot cheaper than the Google products.
Yeah. You mentioned, you know, back to school, kids going to university, and I'm curious, like college networks are notorious for being kind of hard to get your stuff working on. I'm very curious if anybody out there did you guys have trouble? Oh, you work on a university.
Yeah.
Do people have trouble connecting their I know you don't because you're an admin there, but do people have trouble connecting their controllers to the Wi-Fi?
So for things like Apple TVs and other like hardware devices that use Wi-Fi, it's just an extra step that we have to go through as administrators to kind of allow those devices on the network. So we would have to take the MAC address of the controller and say that this MAC address is tied to this user, so that we can do whatever security stuff that we have to do on it. It's not a big thing, but it all depends on the network hardware that you have at the university or college that you're going to. If they have dated hardware, that might not be possible, and you might have to run a pirate Wi-Fi network in your room and watch for people coming around with network sniffers to unplug it all the time. There's a lot of workarounds that inventive students have done over the years.
Inventive students, I love that description. All right, Ray Sherrod sent in a super chat with, it looked like a giant pear, saying #1 fan, so thank you very much for the support, Ray. And then Anthony just sent in a super chat with a question. They said, hey Bill and Lloyd, what kind of 4K monitors / TVs did you guys get for your computers? In the long run, resolution doesn't matter, but 4K is so pretty. So first off, I have to say thank you for the little 143 pixels Easter egg that you'd put into your message there, Anthony. So thank you very, very much for that. He says 4K is so pretty. So I have an LG something or other. I will, you know what I'm going to do? I have if you go to runjumpstomp.com/gear, I'm going to find out whatever this one is, and I will put a link there so you can find the same one that I have. Yep. Do you know which one you got, Lloyd?
Yeah, I have an LG 27 inch. It's the 27UL 550, and it's -W because it's the white one, because that was the only one that was available at the time when I ordered it. I didn't really want a white backing to my monitor, but I never see it, so who cares?
Actually, maybe we have the same one, because the back of my monitor is also white, and I had that same exact feeling. I was like, white? Who wants a white monitor? But then I looked at the front of it on the Amazon page, and I said, oh, it's just the back. I only see it when I work out on the other side of my desk. Like, I've got a little mat there where I work out, and I've got my weights over there. So I only see it when I'm working out. So I'm fine with it being white. And but it's the one that I have, I'm very, very happy with. What I would say is, as far as gaming goes, sure, things look better in 4K. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that they don't. They really do look better in 4K. But the real benefit to having a 4K monitor for me is, oh my God, it feels like you've been living in a one-bedroom apartment for years, and you suddenly won a mansion. Because you've just got so much room for windows. Like, on my screen right now, I've got Reaper recording the audio of the podcast. I've got a little preview window so I can see what chat is seeing when we're doing this live. I have our Stream Elements page down here. I've got the show notes in front of me, and I've got chat. Like, all of that stuff is on my screen at the same time, and I could not do that before. So honestly, if you are thinking about getting a 4K monitor, don't do it for gaming. Do it because it's just so much nicer. And like, you recently switched to a 4K monitor. Did you feel the same thing?
Yeah, I'll say, like, the one thing to not get 4K for is if you are in a multi-monitor setup. If you have like 2 or 3 monitors, like I have 3 monitors, don't get one 4K monitor, because you're then gonna have to buy 1 or 2 other 4K monitors, because you're gonna really love the amount of real estate that you get on your computer.
Jem in chat is saying, what display size did you get? I think this is a 27. What size is yours?
Yep. 27 as well.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a 27-inch 4K monitor in the middle, and then on the sides I have, because I also have 3 monitors, I've got a 24-inch over here and a 24-inch on the right as well. And I run into the same issue. If I could go back in time, and instead of having 3 monitors, I would rather have 2 4K monitors than having 3 screens. I think that would be better. And somebody might say, well, Bill, just get rid of one of your screens. Well, I have like a monitor stand that has 3 arms on it, so I can't get rid of one of my screens. Then I just have this arm floating out there in the middle of nowhere, which is, I mean, it's a stupid thing to complain about, but whatever. What are you gonna do? Anyway, thank you for the question, Anthony. Sorry, I cut you off, and then I just did it again.
I was going to say what you said. What are you going to do about it? And I said, well, complain, because you were complaining about it. So that's what you're going to do about it.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for sending in the questions, thoughts, and all that fun stuff. And thank you for listening to the show. If you haven't already done so, before you get out of here, hit the like button and subscribe, and all of the other things that we ask you to do on YouTube. It really does help. You can follow the show on Twitter at Stadiacast. You can follow me on Twitter at Run Jump Stomp. You can follow him on Twitter at Dasme. That's DASME. And if you want to join our Discord, Stadiacast Discord, it's you can find it over at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. And the music that you are about to hear is Subterranean Kamikaze by Zircon. You can check out their stuff at zirconstudios.bandcamp.com. Lloyd, it's been another awesome week, and in about a half hour, we're going to play some Monopoly.
We are. Everyone that's watching right now, be sure to come to our Monopoly stream in about a half hour after this one.
All right. There we go. We did it. Mission accomplished.
Awesome. Wonder what the June program games will be, Darren Pogue. Yeah, good question. I think some of the pro games are probably going to be stuff that Google has announced recently. Some of the kind of independent games. It would make sense that one of those at least would be one of the June pro games. Seems to be what they've been doing recently, is bringing exclusives or first ons and then giving them away. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Oh yeah, Creta is a good bet for one of the pro games in June for sure.
Are you excited for that?
I am. I want to see just how involved it is. Like, it looks like you have to program in some Lua for some of the scripting that you're doing in the game. I wonder how much of the game creation stuff you can do while in the game, or if you're going to have to basically go to a PC and start doing some actual coding to do that stuff.
By the way, thank you very much, Trev, for mentioning my shirt, my Ghostbuster shirt. I love this shirt.
That's a great shirt.
It is. My wife got it for me. But I see people are using the Bill emote. I tried making a Lloyd emote. It just looked bad because I can't make a hat. So I'm still working on it. If you guys have ideas for emotes for the channel, I'm working on a Lloyd one already. But if you have ideas, let us know. Because we didn't realize, but we unlocked like 14 emote slots. So we have a lot of emotes that we need to make for people because of all of the members. You guys are blowing us away with the support. It really is pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where's the music? I'm just editing the show and figured we could chat, but if you got to go for a half hour, that's fine.
No, I just somehow closed the window that had the chat in it. I don't know how that even happened.
I'm just editing the show.
So yeah, everybody, make sure that you click over to our Monopoly stream. I'm gonna post the link in this chat.
Yeah, it's also in the description down below.
So you can click that and just keep that page open for when we go live with some Monopoly. We're gonna have some interesting things when you watch us play Monopoly. You can basically change the outcome for the winner or the loser. You can use super chats to force us to mortgage a property, to that when we land on whatever next property comes to, we have to auction it. Force us to roll or not to get out of jail, force a trade. You can basically be the kind of the all-seeing eye that makes us do stuff or not do stuff. So this should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for it.
So Lloyd, do you program in Creta in Lua at all?
It's a scripting language. It's very similar to, say, like a JavaScript or something like that. I've dabbled before. I haven't really I've had no reason to mess around. A lot of game engines use Lua as kind of like the easy kind of scripting, and then you can go into more I guess more difficult scripting, like into some more JavaScript or even into like C# or whatever. So if you're making a game in like what was the name? Acorn 2D, I think, was one that used Lua by default, and I think Unity does as well. So it's a pretty common scripting language.
I know that like most World of Warcraft mods are made in Lua.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very low overhead scripting language. It's good.
Justin says, every time I heard the out-troll music, I assume he means outro music, I think about Dragon Ball Z games. It sounded like the music that would be in those games. That is actually, what's the name of the song? I say it every week and I can never remember. It's Subterranean Kamikaze. I believe it's like based on like Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a Ninja Turtle song. And it's by Zircon. Yeah, Matthew's saying that WoW used Lua. Wait, does WoW are you saying that WoW was made in Lua, or they just used it for their mods?
For the mods.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm going to go stretch my legs and be back here in about a half hour. All right. So everybody click on the link down below click on the link that Lloyd posted, and we will see you guys in about a half hour for Monopoly. And you guys are really going to control who wins this. All right. So we'll see you around. Bye, everybody. See you, Lloyd.
Later, everybody. See you, Bill.